Oh, those achy joints. It's amazing. People used to think that it was just an old wives' tale. You know, I could feel the fact that it was going to rain. Today, we actually had snow flurries this morning. People felt the heaviness of that snow in their joints. Well, listen, tonight's workshop, we're going to talk about your body and barometric pressure. Most people still believe it's just an old wives' tale. Well, let me tell you, I'm going to start out with the truth right away. There is a ton of research, a lot of outcome studies that have already been done, a lot of science behind the fact that no, it's not a wives' tale. When the barometric pressure changes, your body is affected. My body is affected. We're all affected when the barometric pressure changes. It's just simply, how does your body demonstrate these changes? It's crazy. Now, I have to tell you, it's one of those very simple cause and effect situations. Normally, the barometric pressure is supposed to be 14.7 pounds per square inch. And as we have fronts roll through, particularly those low pressure fronts, and that's what most of us associate bad weather with, well, we see that barometric pressure plummeting down. Well, when that happens, yes, it affects your body. And we're going to talk about it real briefly. We're not going to go into, great scientific detail. We're not going to do a lot of experiments here in the office. But let me tell you, the research is already out there. Now, one of the things that you will need to know is that many of you use this on a regular basis. You experience this on a regular basis, changing the barometric pressure and watching it affect your body. Now, for some of you, well, if you scuba dive, you definitely know this. As you go down and down and down, and you have atmospheric pressure that is changing, you know how, well, it costs you more. It takes more in order to breathe. In fact, as you come back up to different levels, well, you have to stop and decompress your system. If not, you get a condition called the bends. For those at the other extreme, well, those that are climbing mountains, those that are out in the West and they're skiing in higher altitudes and elevations, they know that it takes a whole lot more for them to be able to get the proper amount of oxygen into their system. Regardless, your body is affected. Now, I have to say, when this happens, one of the biggest things that we sort of forget about is we oftentimes miss the big picture. There's a lot of different ways that your body demonstrates and tries to talk to you, and you just think, well, achy joints. That's it. Barometric pressure changes, achy joints. Well, unfortunately, it goes well beyond that. There is research that demonstrates how it affects everything from your breathing, to your blood pressure, to your blood sugar levels, besides things like how those joints feel, how scar tissue reacts, how it talks to you when you try and engage it. The amazing thing is that many individuals miss these. They get a headache as the change in the pressure happens. And they think, well, it's just because I slept wrong. Maybe it was because I did something I wasn't supposed to do. Maybe too much coffee. Maybe not enough coffee. In the end, we oftentimes forget that the change in barometric pressure is capable of affecting the body in so many different ways. Now, for one of the big things that we all need to remember is we need to remember the state that our body is in. Oftentimes, if we know, because we've tested the system, how our body's working, how it's functioning, we get that better understanding of what to expect when the barometric pressure changes. Many people, in fact, most of you are patients here at the Limerick Chiropractic Center, you've had your spine checked. You've had those joints adjusted, whether it's the spine or different extremities. And because they're actually moving and positioned better, yeah, they're capable of handling the change in the barometric pressure much, much better. If you've never been checked, huge thing. Make sure that you find the local chiropractor to get your system checked. The body always works better without these subluxations. In fact, a couple things that you can do and anybody can do in order to help themselves to reduce the effect of barometric pressure on their body is, number one, stay active. Unfortunately, when we stop moving, our body stops functioning the way it's supposed to. And yes, those joints are designed to be in motion. If we're not moving those joints, let me tell you, those capsules, they're going to shrink. They're not going to be functioning the way they're supposed to be. And then as the barometric pressure changes, guess what? We have that expansion, and you're going to feel that expansion in those joints. So number one, you want to make sure that you keep moving. You want to stretch on a regular basis. For so many of us, you know what? Maybe we get up in the morning, we stretch one time. Bend over, pull our socks up. And that's about it. We need to be stretching on a regular basis to ensure that we're activating these tiny, tiny tissues that are all over our body. You want to make sure that you're reviewing your diet. Big thing is that we're in control of what we put into our body, how we feed, how we fuel ourselves. And most people don't realize that, hey, listen, food's broken down into two very, very simple chemical groups. One that is alkaline forming, brings us into a more basic state, or one that's more acidic forming, causing our pH to drop, which makes us more acidic or inflammatory. These aren't chiropractic things. These are laws and truths that run your body. And in turn, we know that they are absolute choices for each and every one of us of how we take situations that we have already and either maximizing us pushing them down and keeping them under control, or allowing them to just simply blossom and run out of control like crazy. Now, you could also use some very natural homeopathics and herbal remedies, whether it's turmeric or other anti-inflammatory nutritional products. These are all great. They're wonderful. The beautiful thing is that they don't have side effects to them. To me, regardless of what action that you take, the biggest thing is to take action. In fact, I'm going to ask you, if you haven't done the very first thing, which is to get checked, make sure you get checked. If you've gone through that process, evaluate how you feed and you fuel your body. Consider how you exercise, how you stretch. Make sure that you stay in motion. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear, what's the thing that you need to do? What's that thing that you know you're not doing that could possibly help you reduce the effects of barometric pressure on the body? In the comments section below, leave me your answer. Tell me what you're working on. In fact, make sure that you'll like this video and that you share it with others. Because I'm sure that you know, just like I know, people who complain about feeling those achy joints every time the weather changes. Saying that, I know it's going to rain. I feel the snow is coming. Listen, there's help for them. There's hope for them. They are capable of improving how their body functions and how they're able to feel if they do these very simple, easy things. But that means one thing. We've done our part in sharing the information with others. As always, I love when our patients get involved in helping their community grow stronger and healthier. I'm Dr. Joseph Baker from the Limerick Chiropractic Center.